How are you, peaceful heart, with a highly sensitive body that is leaking? You might be a firstborn daughter, tenthborn, a twin, and you're being dismissed by doctors by them telling you that what you're dealing with is mental and not environmental illness, mold illness, or sick building syndrome. Hi, I'm Dee, and I'm so glad this video has found you. I am living on $100 a month for food. I have for the last 15 months, and I am unable to advertise, and I'm techno-challenged. I had hopes of becoming a Buddhist nun, but that has expired as I'm in my 60th year of life, and the cutoff is age 60.
25 was a bumpy ride for some of us, especially the highly sensitive souls who this message is for. We are the canaries in the coal mine, fighting for our lives in a toxic world. I had to save mine when no doctor could, when I was in a cytokine storm and my whole body was seizing up on me and I was unable to even lift myself out of a tub. Despite being a strong athletic personal trainer, I was lifting a 50-pound kettlebell prior to that. It has taken me a long time to be in front of the camera because I have a leaky body, which makes it challenging for me to talk because I have leaky lungs, leaky eye, leaky nose, and 40 other leaky body barriers. But I saved my life when no OHIP doctor in Ontario, Canada could, or any emergency room. Are you a highly sensitive soul with misophonia, a high sensitivity to sound? Are you a light sleeper? I've had insomnia since I was 5. I've had chronic pain for as long as I can remember, and IBS since I was 5, with lifelong food fears, and why I became anorexic for 50 of those of 50 years of my life. I'm in my 59th. I just turned 59, and this is my 60th year of life. So for us that were born in 66, this is a rebirth year in the Chinese astrology. I hope this reaches you, the silent observer who isn't online very much because electronics disrupt our peace that we're protecting, our PTSD peace, CPTSD peace from horrific traumas that we have endured lifelong with abusive relationships, sexual traumas, beginning in our home. Are you a firstborn, parentified, petrified, perfectionist, people pleaser, doing all the things to help heal your body? You feel everything, you numb nothing, and you are leaking everywhere. My nipples were even leaking. This was long after I was done breastfeeding. I created De-Stress with D SOS. I have 2 other channels, De-Stress with D for soul love and inner peace for the sober souls who are learning how to reconnect with our inner child and heal ourselves. And I have a Fitness with a Smile channel helping those with leaky body and life-threatening leaky muscle heal our bodies at home 9 minutes a day or less because we can no longer work in gyms. I have been sick, bleeding internally since 2013. And no doctor or test could uncover why. They just wanted to give me meds. I didn't want any meds. I've been a biohacker of my life since the 80s, not out of vanity, but for pure fear of doctors. And I was trying to figure out how to heal myself when I saw my mother, who was medicated and miserable, trusting the doctors that what they were saying was true. And I was sounding the alarms in the 80s about IBS and leaky gut. I grew up on moldy military bases. I had an absent father, and my mother was struggling to try to keep food on the table. I've had lifelong food insecurity and housing insecurity. My mother kicked me out when she legally could. She never wanted to be a parent, she says, but I think it was just because her body was overloaded with toxins that were helping her think clearly. She had a brilliant mind. She was a lab tech at Agriculture Canada. She passed away by maid at the Queensway Carleton Hospital during COVID in 2021. She felt she was being unheard and dismissed in the hallways. As a silent observer, I am someone who has been taking notes in every relationship that I have been in, wondering why people are the way that they are. Because I knew at the age of 7 that everything is connected and we could heal ourselves when I suffered a trauma to my head that was bleeding profusely. and my mother wouldn't take me to the hospital. Fasting, pausing was what helped back then. And this is what I went back to when I was in crisis fall of 2024. I had never taken an antibiotic as an adult because I knew when I gave birth to my son Noah how harmful they are to our bodies. The way we heal our bodies is we go back to the first 1,000 days of life, the way we feed our child, our newborns to the age of 3. That's how we heal us lifelong, our highly sensitive bodies. No sugar, no booze. By sugar, I mean no man made sugar. You can check my videos. They're all over how the tobacco company found the sweet spot and bought sugar companies back in the 80s to keep us hooked on sugar. There's a chemical thing that happens in our brains. Diet Coke was the hardest thing for me to stop after the booze. Diet Coke was the next big thing. I also smoked, but nobody knew that. I smoked in the bathroom. I smoked also when I drank. But later in life, I didn't drink going outside. I drank at home because I was self medicating myself to sleep. I'm a go, go, go type A, parentified, people pleaser, stress cleaner. These are all identifying markers for the canaries in the coal mine because we want our homes to be a cozy nest from the toxicity that's out in the world. We are born with chronic inflammation response syndrome in the womb when our parents have toxic wombs. This includes the words that they say to themselves. And I was an oops baby that was never wanted. My mother reminded me of this on the regular when I would get beatings after my father left. She even blamed me for the divorce. I carried these burdens lifelong. I still feel like a burden when everybody I have trusted to protect my peace has hurt me in harmful ways, including my doctor, who refuses to give me my last year paperwork with him. When I was in crisis and in a full seizure cytokine storm, my whole body seized up in his office. He looked at my ex and he said, "Is this mental?" He said, "Yes." It's just wild to me. I would have never gone to a doctor if that was going to be the end result. It was the same thing that happened to my mother. She was constantly dismissed and she was put into the mental hospital at the Royal several times. She worked at Agriculture Canada as a lab tech. That building was so toxic that they had to blow it up and they couldn't rebuild. It's across from the Civic Hospital. They couldn't rebuild because the soil was so toxic. I grew up on Upland Space here in Ottawa. Those buildings were so moldy that they had to redo them all in the 90s. I was there in the 70s. The home that I'm currently in, I've been here for 20 plus years, and it was so moldy. As soon as I woke up, my eyes would start to tear. My nose constantly runs, phlegm at the back of your throat. We can't have any sense whatsoever, but we knew that. It causes extra inflammation for our bodies. The huge crisis we're feeling in right now is that doctors are saying after COVID, for the highly sensitive athletes, perfectionists, personal trainers, and type A's who are doing everything they can to heal well and age well without man made meds. And we never had a cold, but we've had COVID more than once, is because COVID is like we have a bucket and the COVID just overflowed our buckets, if that makes sense. I am not a scientist. I'm a personal trainer and a biohacker, and I am dyslexic. So sometimes I say things backwards. I apologize in advance. My first year on YouTube was to talk about the mental and how to help yourself heal holistically without meds, how I have done it all my life. If you're in chronic pain and chronic inflammation, we need to use red light. I have an Amazon Zen Den with all the products that I have in my home. When I renovated my home in 2021, 2022, we removed everything mostly from our home because I was too weak to move anything really. So I just gave everything away mostly and started fresh. Thankfully, where I live in the co-op, excuse me, they redid our whole home. When they opened up walls and saw how toxic our home was, they removed all the carpets that they could, that they were allowed to by law, because we need to have carpets on our stairs. There's still original carpet in the basement, probably 40 years old, that's filled with mold. We had a cute Bella, a Chihuahua, who would have accidents down there. So the water and the carpet mold. And that's where I work out from time to time. So I can't be there very long. I need your help. I need your help to get this message out. Last year was all about the environmental health, and the mold illness and the sick building syndrome that I have uncovered has been the lifelong root of all my issues. Excuse me, causing mast cell activation syndrome, the MTHFR gene, CIRS, nervous system chaos on the regular, and why I was never able to sleep. Mold has memory. So anytime I was with my ex, whose home was a hoarded home that I would lovingly clean because he had many strengths, but one of them was not cleaning his home. So I was doing it for the last 8 years before we broke up. I got discarded at my doorstep after that doctor's appointment. There's been no apology from my doctor, despite many letters to him. I send out loving kindness to all of you who are suffering and doing the best you can. If you are feeling dismissed with dark thoughts, especially after the most toxic season, the holiday season, with all the fake smiles, toxic food, toxic booze, family dramas, for the highly sensitive soul, this is very hard on our system. Chronic stress, de-stress with D, is the driver of chronic inflammation, even if you were born healthy. You will eventually have a system in your body that gets inflamed if you keep pouring in things that cause your body to be inflamed. In 2017, I stopped the booze. In 2020, I stopped the cigarettes. Going back to that, I would smoke 5 a day as part of my eating disorder. I also did cotton balls. Speaking of which, the highly sensitive souls, this is cotton balls in my vitamins bottle. Touching this is just, this is why we don't wear jewelry. Everything affects our bodies. We have very highly sensitive skin. Is the back of your neck constantly sore whenever I went into the hospital? I could see people holding the backs of their neck. Going back to the dark thoughts, for some of us who are highly sensitive, we have a gene that is linked to our brain. Misophonia is the high sensitivity to sound. So your dark thoughts are connected to this gene in my brain I uncovered last year that heightens dark thoughts with misophonia. It's a high sensitivity to sounds. Does it feel like you're sleeping with one eye open and you hear a mouse toot? But despite this, we keep on going because we never wanted to be a burden, and we're living with housing insecurity and food insecurity and raising a child all by ourselves. And many of us are dealing with heartache in 2026. The universe protected us in 2025 by removing all the souls who could no longer hold our hands the way that we show up for them when they are in crisis. I didn't have anybody ask me how I was when I was dying. My whole body was shutting down. People that I would travel 8 hours to show up when they said they're in the hospital, I'm there the next day. I took a friend who was in a wheelchair all through the Gatineau Hills. I pushed her. I'm 5 feet tall, 115 pounds. And I pushed her all through the Gatineau Hills in a wheelchair after she had an accident. Crickets from her. I send love. Nobody can love you until they learn how to love themselves. And when they're drowning and they think they're not, and they're numbing and distracting their depressions by scrolling, toxic foods, sugar, sex, porn, relationships, work, working out too hard, shopping. I'm sharing all the ones that I've done in the past. Nothing is going to help you feel better until we pause. In midlife, it's not menopause or andropause for the men, but we must pause. If you have a highly sensitive, leaky body, we are the canaries in the coal mine. Our intelligent bodies are warning us of all of these biological hazards that are around us. And since the 80s, it is just the toxins are everywhere. They're in airplane air. They're in schools. My son went to the same schools I did, and I went through those halls. It's toxic air. I have so many teachers reaching out to me for help. I have reached out to every Canadian mental health association in Canada. There's nothing they can do. They're convinced it's mental health, and I'm here to tell you it's environmental health. Even the ones that have connected the dots, and this makes sense to them, what I'm saying, there's still nothing they can do because they have to follow protocols. So a lot of us are sliding in between the cracks. So my first year was helping you with your brain to heal holistically. Last year was all the environmental health and connecting why mold and sick building is around and why it's the root cause of many of our health issues. This year, I'm going to be advocating for my life because this will be the last year, the last full year I am on this earth if I cannot get the disability laws to recognize environmental illness and to get the MAID laws changed. Because in March 17th, 2027, my parents' wedding anniversary that I attended in the belly, is when MAID will accept mental health as the sole reason to expire before we desire. I know this because I presented MAID papers to my doctor in Waterloo. I had to travel to go see him 6 hours, 7 hours, because there was no doctor available here in Ottawa. There was a huge wait list. He said at the time, Thanksgiving 2022, that I did not qualify for MAID yet. I have been following the MAID laws since then, waiting till I could expire because I couldn't handle being so alone in this toxic world. Now I'm at peace because I know that what the root cause is. You have no idea how much peace that has brought me. And I had found peace before that, but this was just the icing on the cake. If this has connected with you and you know a firstborn who's struggling, or a tenthborn, or a twin, we receive the highest toxic load in the womb as firstborns. We receive the highest toxic flush. And this is why we are suffering and so sensitive. Your life matters. I see you, and together we will heal. I am creating a safe sanctuary for us on Skool. Send me an email on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn at De-Stress with DSOS, and I'll send you the link and you can see if that fits for you. We will be detoxing holistically without man-made meds. It'll only work if you're not on man-made meds because man-made synthetic meds disrupt our microbiome. And what I'm teaching us is how to heal our microbiome and our fatty liver while we detox stored toxins and traumas that have been in our tissues since birth. And it triggers chronic inflammation, which is the root cause of chronic dis-ease. If you're dealing with anything chronic, this is where the root cause is. I'm a root cause biohacker. I will leave this for now and wrap you in a 21-second hug. That's how long it takes to get the endorphins going in our brain. If you are suffering, you don't have to suffer anymore. Message is for the 15 to 25% of us out in the world. I hope this message reaches you because I only pop on electronics 5 to 15 minutes every day. And I'm a techno-challenged Buddhist who had hoped to become a Buddhist nun, but time has run out because the time frame is the age of 60. And I'm in my 60th year of life. So this is my calling now. Take good care. Ciao for now. Sending loving kindness from Canada's capital.